Alright, so to cover my 6 heroes, I'm going to cover each one individually so that it's hopefully in a more organized format. But before I cover the heroes, I will cover my training grounds before going to each individual hero. So let's jump into the training grounds first before talking about the heroes. So for this battle, which was against Fenrir, I used really just 5 soldiers. The first one is the Lava Titans on Bernhardt. And the Lava Titans were probably one of my lowest level soldiers. They were at level 8 out of 10, right? And in addition to that, in terms of training percentages, it's all 40%. So what that really means is the Elite Training Ground is all at level 14, and then Elite Training Ground 2 is all at level 3, with this one actually at level 1. So that was the Lancer Training Ground and the Lava Titans. Next will be the Cavalry Training Ground and the Hellhounds. Actually, the Hellhounds are even worse than the Lava Titans. They're at a mere level 6. It offers a 15% damage increase against the enemies, which is solid. You know. Raising them to level 10, I think raises this up to maybe 20% or so. But I have other priorities that need these resources right now, so I'm not really looking into raising this up anytime soon. In terms of the percentages, it is just like the Lancer Training Ground. And in fact, the hit point one is only at level 1. This is actually on purpose because I don't particularly want to have that much hit points on the cavalry soldiers. At least that's how I feel. Because the less hit points they have, the easier it is to keep them above, let's say, the 80% rate or whatnot. So I'm purposely leaving the hit points low. This is actually intended. I'll try to upgrade, magic defense and attack value and so on, but I want to try to leave the hit point value low, if possible, so that it's easier to keep them above 80% hit points or whatnot, to benefit from those buffs. Alright, so the next soldier then will be, the other 2 soldiers actually are used both from the Holy and Demon training, because they're sorceresses and shrine maidens, right? The sorceresses are at level 10, of course. One of the first soldiers I raised to level 10, the other one being angels for Leon. And then the shrine maidens are at level 9. The limitation here is actually my lack of epic religion materials, the books. Because I've actually been busy upgrading the core attack tech as well as the joint attack training. So you can see that core attack is actually at level 17 right now, and the joint attack training is actually at level 5. So I'm steadily raising those 2 up to increase the damage that my mages, sorceresses, etc. will output. And that's why the Holy and Demon Training Ground is the only one at plus 50% at this time. All the other ones are at 40 to 44%. There is still work to be done. For example, this is another 10%. I think it goes 33, 36, and then 40. And then after that, there is still 5 more upgrades here. So presumably maybe another 15%. So in total, I guess I'm still missing a roughly 25% additional attack increase. So still work to be done in terms of upgrading my training grounds for sure. And that would just be the Holy one, right? Every single one needs those kind of upgrades. So I don't know. It's definitely going to take time and grinding to do. So you can see overall my training grounds aren't that great, but they were enough to do the job. Okay, so with all the training grounds covered, let's move on to cover the heroes individually. And so let me start off with, I guess I'll work from bottom up. How about that? From the SRs up. So the first character to cover will be Sophia, who is 6 stars. She is actually she's very oddly built in some ways, because my Sophia only has single class mastery in the Prophet class, and in terms of intelligence as a result, it's not that high, 342 plus 305. Equipment wise, she's actually bringing a very odd mix as well. she has Goddess's Left Hand and the Teddy Bear from Tiaris, right? Both level 50. This one gives 15% int, this one gives 7% int. The main purpose though was the Teddy Bear, so that Regenerate lasts 3 turns, so that Sophia has more time to use other skills like Rewind and Mass Heal, or even attacking, so that she can use the Goddess's Left Hand to apply a debuff on the enemy. Other than these, she's also carrying 2 Breeze enchant items. A Galaxy Cloak, so that because it had plus 14% hit points and plus 4% int, and a Warlock's Hood, which provided 7% hit points, 11% magic defense. You know, the enchant wasn't the priority. What was important was the siphon, right? The chance of applying magic defense decrease of 30% on the enemy. So it is a mixed set, so that she's getting, I guess, effectively plus 10% int in total from this mix. But it works out overall. You know? She did her job. Her mass heal healed everyone to full, or not to full. It healed everyone for a decent amount when she needed to use it. And Regenerate, as I mentioned, lasting 3 turns was quite clutch for this fight. Finally, in terms of her bonds, Sophia is quite low there as well. Because 83%, max, level 9 on the toughness bond. I originally maxed that out because I think I was using Sophia for PvP, and I wanted her to have as much survivability as possible. Level 6 on the strength bond, so that's only a 7% increase as opposed to 13%. I'm missing 8% int right here. And then finally her heart bond is at a mere level 5. I don't think I'm going to really max her out at all at this point. Her survivability comes more from the Shrine Maidens providing survivability than anything else, and she survives just fine for this battle. So that was my Sophia setup for this fight. Oh, finally, the thing that I missed was the class enchants on Sophia. And class enchant wise, she has absolutely nothing. So no int increase, no hit point increase. She was not the first character to die in the first place, because once again, Shrine Maidens with that 70% damage reduction kept her alive. But she could probably use some int enchants. Right? I do have several. One, actually. So we'll see. Not really in a rush to buff up Sophia any further at this time, but we'll see. Because although I say I'm not in a rush to buff her up, I must admit, I do use her for several of the Ancient Beckoning battles, so I might enchant once or twice on her. I probably won't use the SSR scrolls, but maybe if I get some more SR scrolls that increase int, I'll use those on her. Alright, so that is my Sophia. Next character to cover will be Varna. So you can see, first, Sophia's power rating overall was 5203. It is what it is. Varna. Alright, let's start from the info page so that you can get an overview of her stats, right? In terms of class mastery, she does have double class mastery, of course, right? You have to go get the aim skill, and then Dragon Knight and Dragon Master were Dragon Master was pretty clutch here. To be fair, you don't actually need the Ranger class, right? So you could have maybe saved the runestone there, although the Ranger class does give plus 25%, plus 25 attack and 90 hit points. In terms of class mastery, nothing! This was a huge lack because Varna was one of my major damage dealers, and I really should have upgraded this. In fact, I really think if I had upgraded that on Varna, I could probably get the other 2 achievements that I'm currently missing, right? Which are, let me bring it up. The first achievement was advanced to stage 3 within, first achievement, advanced to stage 2 within 3 turns, which means you have to kill Fenrir in 2 turns. And then the phase 3 was advanced to stage 3 within 6 turns, or kill him by phase 5. Didn't grab either one, surprisingly. I'm sure if I just spend some time to enchant up Varna and then do another run, I can get those achievements. So I may do that, but I probably will do this offline. You know, just get her slightly increased damage and then we'll be done. In terms of gear, Varna has a Peacemaker with 9% attack and 17 attack. Effectively, you can say, given that she has 513 attack, you can basically say this is equal to, let's say, 3%. So you're looking at 12% attack increase in total here. There's a 4% attack increase, last rites. There is a King's Crown with another 4% attack increase. And then finally, there is an Overlord's Badge with a 10% attack increase. So in total, you're looking at 12 plus 10, that's 22%. 22% plus 8%, right? So that's a 30% attack increase in total with a Breeze Enchant for 10% increased damage as well. So, not much else to say about Varna here. I mean, if you have a Slayer's Emblem, it would be better, because this could be potentially 18% attack rather than just 15% here. You know, King's Crown was solid. I used it a lot to buff up, let's say, Lana. Could also use it to buff up Bozel. And, you know, I am missing 3% attack increase here on the Peacemaker, whatever. It's just, I don't really have any axes with 15% attack increase. There is not one axe that gives that. You know, Ragnarok has 11%, right? Peacemaker was overall the highest of the 3 axes I have. So that's why I was using it. Bonds wise on Varna then, well, Varna's near the top at 95%, and the only one that she's slightly missing is her toughness bond, 1 upgrade on it. It's not upgraded because of A, gold, and B, she doesn't need it. Once again, Varna was not my first character to die. She was endlessly just using AoE attacks, so she never actually took damage, so she really does not need this bond upgrade. Alright, so that's Varna. I should mention, the gear from Varna, I think, came from a mix of gear from Zerida, right? And Omega. So both of these characters are missing gear to make Varna strong. Well, to make Varna usable for this fight. Alright, so after Varna, I am going to be looking at my SSR heroes, right? So let's start with Bozel. Bozel, power rating of 70-55. The big issue with my Bozel is he's only 5 stars, not the 6 stars maximum. So that's a big improvement I can make right there, right? For example, that would raise his random debuff chance to 100% right there. So we'll look into it, because I mean, grinding him up would take 20 days if I choose to grind him 4 shards a day, right? But I don't think I'll do that. The most likely situation will probably be me trying to draw a copy of Bozel on the Bozel and Landius banner, and then I'll farm up the remaining 30 shards that way. Alright, in terms of gear, Bozel truly has not changed since like March or something ridiculous like that. Miracle Staff with 5% magic defense increase and a 3% hit point increase. A Galaxy Cloak with a 13% magic defense increase and with 7% hit points. A Dark Crown with another 14% magic defense increase and 6% hit points. And then a Speed Boots with a mere 6% magic defense increase and 4% hit points. This is the one that I really should be looking into re-rolling for a 10% magic defense increase. But nonetheless, in total, you're looking at 14% plus 13%, so that's 27%. 27% plus 5, that's 32%. 32% plus 6, that's 38% magic defense increase in total. And the absolute maximum is 45%, right? 15, 15, right? 5 is already, and then 10. So 38, I think I can raise this pretty easily from 38 to 42. I just would need to roll this a bunch of times with clocks, right? Very viable, but overall, you know, Bozel continues to perform very well. That's why I haven't really re-rolled it. And in terms of bonding on Bozel, I believe he's one of the characters I do have effectively maxed out. The reason he's not maxed out, the reason he's at 81% is because he doesn't even have his strength bond unlocked, right? I will eventually do it, right? Because the Dark Twins map is the final Gate of Fate map for Bozel, right? So I will definitely be doing this with Fenrir sometime, but I haven't ever farmed Bozel ever since I unlocked this Gate of Fate. So, you know, it's one of those things where I just haven't farmed him in forever. So when I do farm those last 30 shards that I plan to farm, that's when I will unlock his Strength Bond. But even with it unlocked, I don't plan on upgrading it. It's basically the exact same situation as Luna, where I'm not sure it's worth using the resources to upgrade. Granted, the skill increase will be pretty important now, right? Given the existence of characters like Omega. But we'll see. In any case, that's my Bozel setup. Quite solid overall. Alright, after Bozel, I will talk about Lana, the other mage. Right? So Lana, 70, 25 power. Very, very close to my Bozel's power in truth, which just means my Lana has ridiculous enchants. Oh, let me backtrack a little because I don't think I covered Bozel's class upgrades. So you can see here, the base stat bonus, 450 hit points, 46 magic defense, 37 skill. The only ones that really matter here would be the hit points and the magic defense, right? Still room for improvement. I could reroll this for more magic defense for sure. This one is pretty near perfect, 23 out of 25. I'm not likely to reroll that one. This one, I think it can go up one more value for 5. And then this one has a bunch more. I think this can be 15 in total. So there are, I mean, in total I could get, let's say 2 plus 5, you know, that's 7, 7 plus 1, 8, 8 plus, I don't know, a bunch here. Right, so most likely the one I would be re-rolling would be this one. In terms of survivability, once again, Bozel was not the first character in my party to die, so the hit point, 450 hit points was enough. Alright, so let's go now, let's talk about Lana. So, Lana info page, you can see quite a lot of hit points, much more than Lana usually has, in truth. Into 519 plus 367, and class mastery wise, completely all unlocked. Right. So, let's move on to her equipment page. Well, quickly covering the class mastery. 289 hit points, 26 int, skill of 19. She really could use more rolls on the enchants in general, right? Very, very low int on this one, 10. Right. 16 here. There's no increases on the armor or headgear yet, given their small increase values, but it helps. And so, yeah, I mean, she could also use more hit points. I think Lana was one of my first characters to die. Certainly, she was a character who could not attack Fenrir after a while due to the lack of hit points. She was dying when she attacked. I'm not sure rolling for more hit points would allow her to attack because that's usually inherently due to the sorceresses being too vulnerable, due to their hero boost only providing 10% hit points. So I'm not sure what can be done there. We may just have to leave it as is. Other than that though, equipment wise, she has a set with the clocks enchant because I found that she kept throwing, I think, she kept swapping between Freeze Strike and Dark Reaper, so clocks activating certainly allows her to keep throwing out attacks, single target strikes. Enchant wise, 13% int on the Blue Moon, no int increase on the Black Bride, right? 2% int increase on the Dark Crown, so that's just 15% here, and then 15% plus 9. So this set only has a 24% int increase in total, which is really quite meh. But the reason I did that was because this one has incredibly high amount of hit point increase, and of course the Dark Crown does have hit points and int. I can certainly try to reroll these two to get more intelligence for sure, but it's one of those gold limitation things, right? Overall though, 24% int increase out of the maximum 35% is actually considered quite low. It is what it is. In the first place, this isn't her primary set. I think her primary set provides around plus 30% int as opposed to 24%. In terms of bonds, Lana is fully upgraded, like maxed out, flat out maxed out. That's why she is the first character on my bonds list. 96%, max, 99, max hard bond. And with that, let's move on to talk about the two melee characters, which are Bernhardt and Jugler. So, Bernhardt first. Bernhardt is also another 5-star hero. Not 6 stars due to not having the time to grind up his shards. In terms of equipment, he's actually using Leon's set of gear because this provides the maximum amount of attack value, right? 10% attack on the Luncheon Guards, 4% attack on the Vampire Mask with a 7 attack increase, 1% attack with 14% hit points on the Naze's armor, and then 11% attack with 18 attack on the Steel Guardian. This is my highest attack increase full moon enchanted sword, so it is what it is. So effectively, this is given his attack of 449, you can almost say this is effectively, I don't know, 15%, if you will. 15%, 16%, 16% plus 4, 20%, 20% plus 10, so that's 30% attack increase in total out of the maximum 35%. Once again, you know, I can roll this a bunch more for the 4%. It's just not worth it. The hit point is too important here, in my opinion. So, quite basically a very, very solid enchant overall. I mean, as I said, it's Leon's gear set for maximum attack. So, it is what it is. And in terms of his personal class enchants, well, you can see 44 attack, 349 hit points. The attack can certainly be higher as usual. They're all more along the midpoint, right? So you can pretty much, I think, get almost double that. I think the maximum attack you can get is 80. Not really close to that. But also, I'm not sure I'm going to keep re-rolling those. There's too many other characters that I need to roll at this time to make me feel it's worth doing Bernhardt's attack increase. And last but not least, we cover Jugler. So, Jugler, 5 stars once more. So, power rating, 6537. Right. I still need 57 shards of Jugler, so I'm still quite a bit off, quite a bit away from having a 6-star Jugler. Next month. That definitely cost me because Jugler is only healing 20% rather than 30%. So that's a big difference that I'm missing there. And that's why my characters were always so heavily damaged after AoE hits. In terms of the class enchants, oh, geez, let me go back to Bernhardt. I just realized because I missed things. So Bernhardt, class mastery. First of all, class mastery has double class mastery. I never unlocked the general class, which has the Iron Fist skill. I don't have the runestone to unlock it either, so because I'm saving up the runestone to do Yulia and Rachel, and there's so many other characters I have to get just double class mastery on, let alone a branch off. And in terms of bonds, which I didn't cover for Bernhardt, you can see he's very high as well, 96%. So bond wise, he is maxed out. And yes, now let's go back to Jugler. Final character, Jugler. So, Jugler, in terms of class mastery, of course, to use Jugler, you have to put all those runestones into him. So he is fully mastered 7 out of 7. In terms of class mastery, well, I did put a whole bunch of defense and magic defense scrolls into him, right? So this is near perfect. This is near perfect, right? This one could use some work, but at the end of the day, it can be 5. That's only 2 points. It's not really worth it. And then this one could also use some more work. I think this one maxes out at 10 defense. So, and in terms of, I don't have magic defense increase on either of these because I decided it was better to get a bit more hit points than magic defense. Soldiers, as previously mentioned, was the Hellhounds for this particular battle. And equipment wise, he has his own custom set. I've covered this a whole bunch of times by now. There is an Oath of Justice with 6% hit points and 4% defense with 4 defense. There's the Last Rites with 10% defense and 6% magic defense and 7% hit points. Jugler's Gift, 15% hit points, 5% magic defense. And then Overlord's Badge, 7% defense, 7% hit points. Can these get re-rolled? Obviously, because the ideal enchant is something with hit point percentage, defense percentage, magic defense percentage. Yeah, good luck getting that, right? On everything. So, effectively though, this is 23%. You know, the theoretical maximum is 45%. But yeah, there's a 23%, there's a 20% here. There is only a 14% here. So, and the maximum is, I think, 10% defense, 10% magic defense, 10% hit points for a maximum of 30%. It is what it is. Overall, you know, even though everything is around half of the absolute maximum, I think it's enough, and it would be a nightmare to try to get the absolute max. And Jugler, the very final thing to talk about would be his bonds. So Jugler is near the top, not quite at the top. Progress is 86%. What he is missing is, once again, the strength bond, because the strength bond, the only reason to increase the strength bond for Jugler would be the skill increase. To avoid getting one shot at Omega once again. It is what it is. So, there you have it. My 6 characters that I use to clear Nidhogg and surpass the 6 million damage mark. The interesting thing I should mention as a final point in this video is that if I take a look at the details of the Fenrir battle, there's only 3 people who are above me, right? Ron Burgundy, who didn't bring a healer, instead bringing Alte Muller. Kira, the same thing. Alte Muller instead of Sophia. And finally, Method, who also did the exact same thing. So, the 3 players all above me all decided to bring Alte Muller instead of Sophia. As for whether that is a better choice, it's truly hard to say. I mean, for sure, one massive difference would be you need your training ground much more upgraded than mine is to be able to make that switch, right? My strategy relied so heavily on the regenerate, keeping Bernhardt able to provide the lava burn debuff, that I just can't imagine doing it without the regenerate, without Sophia. So there we have it. That is my current party to hit that 6 million mark. There are definite improvements I can make to even get higher damage. In fact, I think I could have... I'm not sure if I could have surpassed Ron Burgundy, but I have a feeling I could have. If, for example, I made sure for the first few turns Sophia's Warlock Hood actually did debuff so that Lana could do more damage early on, and so would Bozel. I think that would make a big difference in terms of getting me slightly damage, getting me the slight damage increase to be, I don't know, 3rd or whatever. In any case, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you found this information useful. And on that note, Nitro out.